Now, Penny Wong and Tony Burke are in Jakarta with Anthony Albanese. Sussan Ley yet to pick her front bench back in Australia. She's lost the shadow Foreign Affairs Minister in David Coleman. As the country's longest-serving Foreign Minister, who do you think in Liberal ranks should be stepping up to be shadow Foreign Minister?
Well, I mean, I think the Deputy Leader of the Liberal Party, Ted O'Brien, should be the Shadow Treasurer, and he'll almost certainly take that job. I think, and this is a bit out of left field, but as a long-serving Foreign Minister myself, the person I would choose as the Shadow Foreign Minister is Dave Sharma, the Senator from New South Wales. He was the Australian Ambassador in Israel, a career DFAT officer, incredibly experienced, much more experienced in foreign affairs than anybody else I know in the federal parliament. But more than that, for the opposition, they need people who will talk in the media, who will speak out, who will campaign. And Dave Sharma is a very good media operator. Yeah,
well, we regularly have him here on this program, that's for sure, and it's time for some of these younger people to get a promotion. We'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully we'll know more next week. Just before I let you go, though, a bit more on Donald Trump and his visit to the Middle East. Here's what he had to say about Gaza.
My administration shares the hope of so many in this region for future of safety and dignity of the Palestinian people. But that cannot happen as long as Gaza's leaders take delight in raping, torturing, and murdering innocent people. Can't have it.
Yeah, he talks about a decent future for Palestinian people. Good, he holds out that hope. But there's the moral clarity about how none of this can proceed while we have Hamas still holding 20 live hostages, not to mention the bodies that they hold as bargaining chips.
Exactly. I mean, Donald Trump is completely right. There will never be peace for the Palestinian people until they choose leaders, and they have leaders who are prepared to negotiate peace and respect the human rights of the Israelis. They have to accept Israel's right to exist within secure borders, and they have to be prepared to negotiate the borders of a future Palestinian state. They've never had the leaders who have been prepared to do that, and they will never succeed. The Palestinian people will never succeed for as long as Hamas leads the people of Gaza, and God forbid that they would lead the people on the West Bank as well. So I think the Arabs understand that more generally. I mean, I think they would fully understand that, the Saudis, the Egyptians and so on. But in the West, we need to understand that in the way that President Trump does understand it.
Yeah, well, he met with the Syrian president too, but he also had a very clear warning for Iran. Have a look.
I want to make a deal with Iran. I want to do something if it's possible. But for that to happen, it must stop sponsoring terror, halt its bloody proxy wars, and permanently and verifiably cease its pursuit of nuclear weapons. They cannot have a nuclear weapon.
I mean, it looks to be a pretty smart place to be saying this, right? Because the Saudis and the other Gulf states will be fully on board with him here and trying to curtail Iran.
Exactly. I mean, I personally think his visit there is very well judged, and the comments he's been making are very wise. I mean, the only way to deal with Iran, which is a theocratic ideological regime, is to be tough with them. As he would say, as Donald Trump would say, maximum pressure on Iran. Iran has to stop sponsoring terrorism, and it's learnt a pretty bloody lesson from the sponsoring of terrorism that it's been doing since the 7th of October 2023. But they need to know they will not be allowed to go ahead with the nuclear weapon. And the Americans and the Israelis have made it clear they will destroy Iran's nuclear facilities if they keep going down this path. So they may as well come to the party. They may as well make a verifiable agreement, and then the sanctions will be lifted as well, which will help the Iranian people who are not too happy with their regime.
Indeed. Thanks again for joining us, Alexander. I appreciate it. Alexander Downer there live from Adelaide, and it was good to see Donald Trump reading from a script on those key issues too. I love it when politicians can speak off the cuff, but dealing in these particular issues, he had some clear messages and he stuck to them, which is kind of wise.